come to realize over the years is that dream work is much more about anthropology than it is about psychology. Today, I would like to take you on a little tour, a little journey into the archetypal realm, into a realm that I have been visiting very deeply and very often for about 16 years now, at which time I began to create the models that I now call Negotiating the Inner Peace Treaty, because 16 years ago I had a series of crises in my life that caused me to realize that I had a cast of inner characters at my inner round table that were very much in conflict with one another. And I had to find a way of everyone living together in peace. And so that was the beginning of the work. It was actually the beginning of my deep journey of individuation, during which time I have done a lot of active imagination, which is really, in a way, my primary way of doing dream work, is active imagination. So we'll do a bit of that today. And what I really want you to come away with after this session is the experience that archetypes are systems of energy. They're not categories. Many people think they're categories. The good mother, the rebel daughter, the warrior, the king, as in categories. These are systems of energy. They move. When they're present, you can feel them. You can feel them in you, and you can feel them in others. When they are present, they evoke responses. So for example, if I'm trying to convey some information to my husband and I am in critical mother, I will get one response. And if I'm in sort of co-travel partner cooperator, I'll get another response. If I'm in playful girl, I'll get another response. All of these archetypal energies evoke responses in others. And in a way, it's kind of like conducting a large orchestra internally. And as you get more, what I like to call archetypal fluency, you can begin to move in and out of these different archetypal energies with some mastery, which means that when you get hijacked by a complex, you'll recognize it quicker, because a complex is really an inner character. All right? So for instance, if you get hijacked by, let's say that you have a lot of mother issues or a lot of father issues, and they get triggered, and you get hijacked by them, you'll be able to recognize that your vulnerable child has taken you over, or your rebel daughter, or whoever it is that has taken you over, your competitor, when it's not appropriate to be competitive. And you can begin to recognize the energies, and you can begin to have a little bit of breathing space. And the way that I experience this work is that before we begin to do all of this work, our lives are very much like a big tangle. Very much like a big tangle. And as you begin to do the work of individuation, the work of separating out the threads, it begins to look like this. So it's the same material, except now air is flowing through it, consciousness is flowing through it, and you can stand in the center in a place of awareness and say, oh yes, that's my inferiority complex, that's my father complex, that's my competitor, etc. That's my little sister complex. And periodically in the course of life, things will happen and then you will collapse in on yourself again. That's called being hijacked by a complex. Then you'll do some work and you'll have breathing space. And then you'll go along and you'll collapse in again. And then you'll do some work and you'll have breathing space. And that's kind of the journey of life and how it goes. So awareness is really the ticket, awareness. And beginning to recognize who is activated in you. And I like the metaphor of the inner cast of characters, and we'll do a little bit of work in defining some of yours today. But I would like to begin this session by an actual journey into the archetypal realm, so you get a felt sense of what I'm talking about, rather than just the idea of it. So I want to invite you to do a couple things. First of all, I want you to identify a question in your life right now. It can be a struggle. It can be a question like, should I sell my house and move? It can be something that's very unresolved in your life, something that is lingering and that you can't quite resolve it or fix it, you're struggling with it. Identify something in your life right now. And if you want to, you can jot it down, but just really be aware of what that question is in your memory. And as we go into this journey, we will return to that question at one point in time. So identify something, and before we go into the journey, if there are any of you who like to move a little bit, we won't be moving a lot, but we'll be moving a little bit. Feel free to move out where you have, arm space, so you can stretch out like this. Those of you who want to stay seated, it's really okay for you to stay seated. You can do either one of those. So I would like to invite you to do that, and we're going to go on a little archetypal journey here. I would like you to go into your interior world. So close your eyes and go in and begin to breathe. Breathe very deeply all the way down into your belly. And breathe out. And there's actually an archetypal motion that happens when you're breathing deeply. It's a wave motion where the air will come down and fill, and then it'll exit again, kind of a wave motion. So just notice the filling and the emptying of air. And experience what it's like to be in your body in this place and this time. What kinds of sensations are you feeling? What kinds of emotions? And really feel your feet on the floor. Experience your feet on the floor and imagine that you're breathing all the way down into your feet. And out again. And imagine that you can breathe all the way down to the tips of your fingertips. And out again. And notice the weight of your head on your shoulders, and locate in your mind's eye the top of your head. And notice if your face is holding any tension. Oftentimes when we're at these workshops, we get very intent eyes, so see if you can relax your eyes. And notice if you have any tension in your shoulders, and you might want to move your neck and your shoulders and just kind of loosen up a little bit. And now what I'd like you to do is I would like for you to imagine that you are a big cat, a lynx, a leopard, a lion, a cougar, a panther, some sort of big cat. And move around a little bit, just a little bit, like a cat would, and feel what it is to be a big cat. Feel what that feels like in your body as big cat. As a big cat, what are you interested in? What kind of emotions are you feeling? Is it a cool place or a warm place? A still place or an active place? A solid place or a flowing place? Notice the felt sense of being a big cat. Now, as this big cat, I would like you to think about this situation in your life that is unresolved. This question. Take a look at it through the eyes of big cat. What do you see? What does it look like from this perspective? If you were to solve this problem or give a bit of information or advice to you as big cat, what might you say about this situation? What bit of wisdom does Big Cat bring that he or she can impart to you? And now I would like for you to begin to move out of Big Cat into yourself for just a moment. And now I would like you to imagine that you are a 6-week-old puppy dog. A puppy dog. So for those of you who are standing, if you have a little bit of room, I want you to do all the things that 6-week-old puppy dogs do. Feel that energy? Notice what it's like to be a puppy dog. How does that energy move through your body as puppy dog? What kind of emotions are you feeling as puppy dog? What kind of thoughts are you thinking, if any? What do you want as puppy dog? So you can be wiggling and waggling and whatever it is you're feeling and sensing as puppy dog, the energy of puppy dog. Now, as puppy dog, I want you to look at this same situation in your life. And what does it look like from here as puppy dog? What does the puppy dog think of this situation? And what bit of wisdom would the puppy dog suggest about what you might do? Or does the puppy dog even care? Okay, now I want you to move out of puppy dog, and I want you to sprout some very large wings. You are about to become an eagle. And you are taking flight, soaring into the air, high into the sky, soaring, gliding, moving with grace and majesty, and looking down on the earth that is below. What does it feel like to be eagle? What does the eagle see? How does the eagle feel when the eagle looks down on you here at Kanuga in your life and all the things that you are pondering and things that are unresolved? What does the eagle see that you may not have seen? And what bit of wisdom would the eagle like to impart to you about your life? And now what I would like you to do is to come back into this time and this place and this room here at Kanuga in North Carolina on Saturday. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and be in the here and now, in these bodies. Okay, what did you notice?
My problem is that I have too many things to do that I actually have commitments for. The lioness, I got from her, spend energy only on the absolutely necessary. The puppy dog said, have enthusiasm and go for what you love, what delights you. And then the eagle, I pictured him circling around and looking for food. Spot what you want, but also what you want that is possible, and then go for that and do it as quickly as possible.
Excellent. Wonderful. Yeah.
And then that solved it.
There you go. I think it illustrates how as we move in and out of these energies, it really shifts our, not just our perspective, but our experience. It shifts the internal energy. And I was talking with the dream group last night about the difference between dialoguing with images in your dream and entering into them. And I guarantee you that if you enter in to some of the images in your dream, the experience will be quite different than dialoguing with it from the outside. It's an anthropology. Dialoguing with it from the outside is much more psychological. You can project what you think that image might respond to you. But once you go inside of it, you've left your sphere and you've entered into another culture, and you're now doing a field study. You're living with the people, you're eating their food, you're breathing their air, and you are absorbing the reality of what it's like to be in this culture, in this anthropology. And that's very different than studying it from the outside.